Coming off a profitable week 4, and we got 2 Monday Night Football games. Let's talk a little pigskin. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and that was some wild week 4 in the NFL. And we had our first really good weekend finally. It could have been so much better, but you know what? We'll take it. We won 3 units. The entire breakdown will be coming in just a little bit. But you guys know, we have 3 outlier giveaways. That's right, 1 free month to 3 different people. We announced it in the Friday video. Thanks for the support on that Friday video, by the way. 10,000 views. Just appreciate the crap out of you guys. You guys are awesome. But I got 3 giveaways. So here we go. Congrats to at Claire's Himasaki 3637, at Strive to Do Better, and at the Half Man TL. You guys are the outlier giveaway winners. 1 free month to each of you. Reach out to me, direct message if you can on X or on Discord, or you can leave it in the YouTube comments, and hopefully we can make that work as well, and I'll get that free month to you. But that's pretty cool. And if you are not a part of Outlier already, guys, you guys are missing out. It is a one-stop shop for all your betting research needs. It can help you win so many bets. It will more than make up for what it costs, and it's only $19.99 a month. I mean, it's not some huge amount or anything. I love it. It's been a huge help to my betting research, that's for sure. But anyways, congrats to you 3 on winning Outlier. 2 quick reminders on the channel. We will be back for the Tuesday MLB playoffs. There is not much better than the MLB playoffs. It is stressful to watch. It is exciting, and I can't wait. Monday, there's a huge series in the Braves and Mets, by the way, and that has huge playoff implications for those teams and the Diamondbacks as well. And then also, I'm excited. Our first NHL video on the channel should be out on Monday, maybe Monday night sometime. And we got our new guy. That's right. He is on the channel, Karan. I'm excited to have him on. He is going to talk his favorite futures bets, give out his Stanley Cup predictions, and then he will be here throughout the entire duration of the NHL season, giving best bets, give some research help out to you, and just have a lot of fun on the ice rink. That's what you say, right? Yeah, sure. Let's go there. But anyways, before we get started, we got to tell you about this one, and then I'll be done blabbing because I absolutely love it. Betanysports. It is an incredible site, guys. There's a promo right now. If you sign up, use the link below in the description or the QR code. 30% cash bonus if you sign up right now. You get free league live streams. That's right. Watch every game live on different sports. And then as you're sports betting, you get line discounts, reduced juice offers. And of course, if you're someone who doesn't just bet on sports, or you want to throw a few bets there and then go play some casino games, you got that too. Blackjack, roulette, slots. It's pretty awesome. Lotto platform. Like I mentioned before, you can go bet on the horses. They got tracks all over the world. It is just a ton of fun. It's awesome. It's very user-friendly, the website. Very reputable company, white website, and everything else. So if you want to go join that, click the link below or scan that QR code. But let's get into it, and I got a fun fact. It's a quick one. Here we go. The Buccaneers have never, ever, ever given a second contract to a quarterback that they've drafted. That's when you look, and I looked at the list of quarterbacks, it's because they were not very good. Let's just face it. But in this video, we're going to recap week 4, and then I'm going to give you 3 quick takeaways because I just like to talk some sports and what we just saw and everything. And then we're going to preview and give you our best bets for the Titans and Dolphins. I don't really want to. That game is ugly. And then preview and best bet my Seattle Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. And we'll wrap it up with that bets recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below. Help this channel continue to grow. You guys are absolutely incredible. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. On our way to 29,000 subscribers. We got MLB playoffs. We got NBA right around the corner. Already starting to work on our season preview videos. NFL is in full gear and NHL is just starting. We are having a ton of fun. Great time of the year. So let's get it rolling. And it means it's recap time. All right, here is the entire week 4 recap. Player props crushed it for us again, and game bets continued to let us down. But let's just go over that real quick. Over 46.5. That's 2 overs in the Carolina Panthers games in a row that have been easy winners. Under 42.5 Saints Falcons. If you just look at the final score, you think, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. That's a terrible bet. How about a muff punt picked up for a touchdown? How about a pick 6? Like, we just had no luck, and they still barely got it over with 2 field goals at the end of the game. So I love the read. It just didn't work out, and that's how it goes. If you'll notice, actually, 4 losses we had that were just half-unit plays, which is what you like to see if you are to lose any. Washington, Arizona, the freaking Cardinals couldn't score 20 points. They had 14 points. They were driving at the 20, and they fumbled the ball in the 4th quarter. And then, this is where this just pissed me off. They had the ball with 4.5 minutes to go. down a million, but they had Kyler Murray in there, everyone in there. You think, okay, let's go work on our offense that's been sucking all day. They just hand the ball off every single play so they can get out of there and run the clock out. That's just brutal. Anyways, they didn't score 20, didn't get it done. Obviously, the Cardinals did not get over 26 and a half. That should have been the Commanders over 26 and a half, but either way, we move on to the player props, and my goodness, was it awesome. Unfortunately, Garrett Wilson had a one catch over 21 and a half. It was on a broken play where Aaron Rodgers does his thing when it was an offsides on the defense, free play, he throws it up, defense wasn't exactly ready for it, and he got it. It is what it is, but Garrett Wilson still stayed under 54 and a half because the Broncos team is so good defensively. Talk about that in a second. George Pickens over 50 and a half, clutches up, gets it done in the third quarter. Nico Collins was an absolute man on a mission. That guy is so freaking good. Josh Allen over 31 and a half. I just have to be careful on primetime games because let's face it, there's just a lot of blowouts and a lot of crappy games that struggle for props, or maybe you got to look at more unders for those. I don't know. But here's the gold mine right here, baby. The ladder parlay, just missed it last week. We hit it this week. Nico Collins 100 plus, picking 60 plus yards. They get the job done, and I put a half unit on a plus 505. Absolutely huge for us this weekend. And then anytime touchdowns, nice to go 2-1. I'll take that every single weekend. Zach Moss gets it done. Aaron Jones does not. The Vikings score like 4 or 5 touchdowns, and he does not get one of them. Jaden Daniels did get in the end zone for a nice plus 135 winner there, though. So there it is. Week 4 record 7-6, up 3 units. We will gladly take it. Hopefully this is the start of things to come. I'm going to tread carefully on game bets until I can figure them out, but I just think we got some rough luck in those, but I will still gladly take up 3 units. So there's that. Now let's look at the second page, and there's the breakdown after that rough week 2 we had. We are digging ourselves out of the hole. Game bets down 5.42 units. You know, just like baseball, game bets have struggled. We caught some bad luck, but player props up 1.52 units. Ladder parlays are pretty much player props, but those are up 2.27 thanks to the big winner. And then we're finally in the positive for the anytime touchdown bets. That trends parlay, we hit 2 out of the 3 legs. The Bills team total over on Sunday Night Football was the one that cost it. It's not official, but those are due to hit, that's for sure. But there's the overall record, down 1.42 units. And now let's talk some takeaways. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we saw today in just the first 4 weeks. The first takeaway I have: the Vikings are a legitimate team, and you Minnesota fans are going to like what you hear at the end of this one too. But the 4-0 Vikings are the biggest surprise of the season. It's just unbelievable. Last time they started 4-0 was actually a 5-0 start, and they ended 8-8 that season. So hopefully they don't this time. But well-balanced offense, no big weakness that you can see through 4 weeks. There's third right now on third down percentage. Defense is flying around. Top 3 run defense. They're getting pressure on the quarterbacks. They create a lot of turnovers. Can they keep that up? I don't know. We'll see. But they got some talent, and they look really freaking good on defense. Sam Darnold, obviously most improved player in the league this year. Really improved from when we saw him a couple years ago. Obviously, scheme and everything really does matter for quarterbacks. 117 QB rating, only 2 turnovers to compare. Jalen Hurts has like 7 or 8 turnovers already. But here's the deal, Minnesota fans. 8 of your next 9 opponents are absolutely insane. Ready? Jets at home, winnable. At Rams, with how they're looking, very winnable. Versus the Colts, winnable. At Jaguars, winnable. Titans, winnable. Bears, Cardinals, Falcons, Bears. Like, it is just absolutely insane how many winnable games you have. There's only like 1 or maybe 1 tough opponent in the next 9-game stretch. I mean, guys, if they can figure out a way to keep this up and go 7-2 or something in those 9, you could be looking at 11-2 team just because the rest of the teams are playing. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. NFL's crazy. Underdogs win all the time. But I just want to say they look pretty dang good. Second one, how about this freaking Broncos defense? It is becoming elite. If you're watching them, it is unbelievable, guys. They're shutting down every superstar receiver. That's why we had Garrett Wilson under receiving yards. They shut him down again today. Patrick Surtain is just, I don't even know what to say. He's so unbelievable. This whole defense is. They're only allowing 133 pass yards per game. They're getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback. Really improved run defense. They just held Breece Hall to 4 yards on 10 carries. That's right. I didn't say that backwards. 4 yards on 10 carries. They're just making this team really competitive. Bo Nix and the offense still stinks, but their defense is something to get excited about there in Denver. At least they got something to look forward to. So, anyways, that's my second takeaway. Third one, Holy freaking Jaden Daniels, is he good? And the Commanders' offense. They look legit. They barely punted in the last few weeks, guys. Just barely. Jaden Daniels has a ridiculous 82.1% completion percentage, 107.4 QB rating. If you watch him play, he looks poised. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's not forcing anything down the field to a lot of turnovers or anything. And then on top of that, he's obviously one of the most athletic quarterbacks to use his legs and all that. It's fun to watch, I'll tell you. And then B-Rob is running the ball well as also, and then a decent O-line. They're getting better O-line play than I thought they would be. But overall, they just look good. I mean, they're a 3-1 team right now, and to think they only lost one game and it was to the Giants. We'll see. They're still a young team. They're going to go through some growing pains. But let's talk about them. They have a 3-1 start. They now get to play the crappy Cleveland Browns, the crappy Carolina Panthers, the not so great Chicago Bears, and the crappy New York Giants. Those are 4 of their next 5 games. They could literally be 7-2. The Commanders. We had no idea that was coming. Absolutely insane. But Jaden Daniels is a stud. That's just all I have to say. But those are my 3 takeaways from Week 4 and just kind of what I've seen over the last few weeks. But now it's time to talk some Titans-Dolphins. All right, this first Monday night game is ugly. We got the Miami Dolphins hosting the Tennessee Titans. Dolphins -2.5. Total in this game is 37 points. Let's talk some notes and trends real quick. Dolphins 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 games. That's not good. They've also gone under the total in 5 straight games. Miami is ranked 31st in the red zone, just so you guys know. Dolphins will now turn to Tyler Huntley as their quarterback in this game, the 4th quarterback used already for them this season. But huge injuries to note. L'Jarius Sneed of the Titans, maybe one of the top 3 corners in the entire league, questionable. Big boy Jeffrey Simmons in the middle of that D-line, questionable. Safety Amani Hooker, questionable, I believe, last I heard. And really, the Dolphins, every quarterback to ever step on the field is always hurt, but Kendall Fuller as well. There's just a lot of injuries. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So, I don't have a play on the side because it's disgusting. 37 seems a bit low, but what are we going to get from Huntley? There's just so many things. I don't see why you would ever bet the side on this game. That's just my opinion. Obviously, people will, but I don't have a play on it. I have 1 half unit play. That's all I'm going to stick to because I don't want to bet it, but I have 2 plays in the next game, including a 1 unit. So this first one, though, in this game for a half unit, give me Tony Pollard over 12.5 rush attempts at -115 on Bet365. This is a half unit play. If you cannot bet rush attempts, I almost went with this over 50.5 rush yards. That would be probably my next option. Guys, this Tony Pollard over in 2 of 3 games so far this year. Last week, I just kind of throw that game out. Levis threw it 34 times. Pollard only had 6 carries. It wasn't because Tajay Spears took over. He ended up having only 2 carries. There's no backfield split in this one. It was just how the game script went. But let's look at the run share. Pollard, 39 rush attempts so far this year to Tajay Spears' 12. It's not even close. This is Tony the Tiger's backfield. Pollard is facing a Dolphins defense now, giving up the 8th most rushing yards, 17th in rush yards per attempt. They've also given up the 12th highest yards after contact per attempt. This is important for rush attempts because obviously the more success you have, the more likely you're going to get the ball. That's kind of obvious, but just want to point that out. I cannot imagine this Titans coach is sitting in a coach's meeting saying, how do we get Levis the ball 34 times again? No. They want him to hand the ball off as much as possible. Pollard in the first 2 weeks, 82 and 62 yards before that game where the just game script took him out. And the only 2 competitive games they've played in week 1 and week 2, they were 1-score games. They probably should have won both, but Tony Pollard, 17 and 16 carries, just went over this by a mile. I think we're getting a good discount here after last week. Dolphins, like I said, 3rd or 4th string quarterback, whatever you want to call him, Tyler Huntley. I would be shocked if the Dolphins got out to some big lead with Tyler Huntley and the Titans had to just throw the ball all over the field. I think this is a closer game, a competitive game similar to weeks 1 and 2 for the Titans, which means we're going to see more carries. I love Tony Pollard over 12.5 rush attempts or his over 15.5 rush yards if you can only do that. So that is my one and only bet in this game. And now let's talk about my Hawks. All right, we head out to Detroit for the second game with the Lions hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Lions -4. Total in this game is 47. Sorry, line is 4.5 in this one, not 4. But let's talk some trends and notes before I get to my 2 best bets, and I have a 1-unit play. But these 2 teams have combined for 68, 93, and 80 points in their last 3 meetings against each other. They just do nothing but score. The second trend, Lions 19 and 7 against the spread at home since 2021. 73.1%. And the third trend, Lions have gone under the total in all 3 games this season, which is surprising. And Seahawks have won 6 straight games versus the Lions, if you care about history and all that. But there is some injuries from my boys from Seattle. Boye Mafe out. First round D tackle. Byron Murphy, who's been playing well, played well last week, out. Big Leonard Williams, probably our best defensive lineman on the team. He is out. Linebacker Jerome Baker, questionable. Nwosu, still out, obviously. I just think not having some of those guys, especially Mafe, Murphy, Williams, those guys are going to be huge. They're going to be thin. We'll see how the other guys can step up. But Lions injuries, missing their starting center right now, I think is how you pronounce it. That's going to be a big loss. I think I saw a personal reason. I didn't look into it. I don't know what. But he is not going to be playing. So Seahawks, if you have not been following them, coming to the game 3-0, but, and it's a big but, they've faced Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson. So here's what I'm going to say. For me, even as a fan, it is hard to know how good we are yet. But I just want to say, be cautious of the defensive stats that you see. Maybe we end up being really good this year still defensively, but guys, again, I want to say this again. Bo Nix in his rookie debut, Jacoby Brissett, which they won in overtime, and Skylar Thompson with a terrible O-line. I completely overestimated that Dolphins team last week, but Lions still haven't hit their stride this season, but they're still 2-1. Only one game with over 20 points scored through the first 3 weeks, which is kind of surprising. We thought we'd see a lot more points, obviously, from Detroit. So let's get into the best bets. First one is a half unit, then I'll give my 1 unit. We did it last week. Rinse and repeat. You know it. Give me Monty. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown. The touchdown machine. Minus 110 I found on Bet365 for a half unit. I mean, we talked about it already, guys. He's scored in all 3 games this season. He's scored in 13 of the last 17 games he has played. 13 of the last 17. 16 of the last 20. That's an 80% hit rate. Yes, hash brown math. Now the rush shares, even though he does concede some carries to Gibbs, we know that Gibbs is a big part of this as well. He still has 51 rush attempts to Gibbs' 40. I mean, it's more than a 50-50. And then the red zone rush share percentage, which is obviously key in this kind of situation. Montgomery, 52.9% run share in the red zone. When they get to the goal line, you know they love to give it to him. So, I mean, Gibbs is going to be a part of this, but when they get close, this guy, they know Montgomery is the guy that just sniffs the end zone, and he finds a way to score. Like I said, 16 of the last 20 this guy has scored. Facing a Seahawks defense, well, you know what? They don't have their 2 probably best, most talented, definitely in the D tackle position, but Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams going to be out is going to be huge. I think it's going to really hurt them. I know the Lions are missing alignment as well. So we'll see how that goes, but they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit. Seattle's not that great defensively when it comes to run defense. So I think Monty gets another touchdown. I mean, he is just the man. How do you not go at it? If you can find minus 110 odds for a guy that does this like 80% of the time, you got to take it. So that's my first play, half unit. Now my 1 unit play, Jameson Williams, over 41.5 receiving yards. I found this at minus 115 on BetMGM. This is a 1 unit play. Like I said, this number is just too low. I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about in our first bet with Tony Pollard. But let's just talk about the Lions last week. My goodness, guys. They ran the ball 39 times. 39, because they ran it down the throat of the Arizona Cardinals. So I'm throwing that game out because that's just not how most games go. Like I said, all Seahawks defensive stats I kind of don't look much into because this is going to be their first legitimate offense they face this year. I believe Witherspoon's going to be kind of shadowing Amon-Ra St. Brown and kind of being with him in the slot and all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to leave opportunities for Jameis Williams. Last week is a game where all wide receiver stats, even Amon-Ra's, were bad. So like I mentioned, it doesn't matter to me on that one. But it's a great buy low spot here. Before last week, that terrible game script, Jameson Williams, 121 and 79 yards. And now we get a 41.5 line. I'm not sure if they're basing it off the Seattle Seahawks defensive stats, which they've been excellent through 3 weeks because they played 3 terrible quarterbacks. But now they're missing their 2 best defensive linemen as well. So this guy's a big player wide receiver, if you don't know, averaging 19 yards per reception. In the first 2 weeks, he had the 8th most air yards in the NFL at 139. His ADOT around 12 yards. He can get this on a couple catches. You've seen it. They like to go deep to him, but he's also had 20 targets in the first 2 weeks. For a guy who has 20 targets in the first 2 weeks to have only a 41.5 line, a big play guy, I just think it's too low just based on what happened last week. This number shot down after the Lions just decided to run the ball because I bet you we would have got close to 50 at least for Jameson Williams. So I love the discount here. I think they're going to be able to run the ball decent, but I can't imagine they run the ball as successfully as they did against Arizona. I doubt they run it 39 times. So I think Jameson Williams is, going to have some chances here. That's for sure. And you know what? The Seahawks with their passing offense and DK Metcalf and all that, I think they can do some damage to the secondary for Detroit as well. If we make this game competitive, then I like I like our chances here in this one. So give me Jameson Williams over 41.5 receiving yards as my second play. David Montgomery anytime touchdown. That's my half unit play for this game. If I had to lean aside, man, it's tough. I'd probably lean Lions -4. Those injuries are just too big. So these teams have been scoring a lot of points. So you want to say over, but like I mentioned, Lions have been playing some under. So that's a tough call. I'd probably lean Lions on the spread, but those are my two best bets. So that's what I got for you. Thanks for listening. But before we get out of here, let's check out the recap. All right, we got three of them for you. Tony Pollard over 12.5 rush attempts at -115 for half unit. David Montgomery, the touchdown machine himself, anytime TD at -110 for half unit. And then Jameson Williams for the Lions over 41.5 receiving yards. That is my 1 unit play. Let's get a 3-0 sweep on Monday Night Football and end the week strong. Maybe win 4 or 5 units for the weekend. But thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Appreciate the support day in and day out. And of course, we'll have the MLB playoffs video for you late Monday night. But hope you have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon.